How everybody feeling out there today? I see there's a lot of chatter going on about Trump getting impeached. It's just the first step. The second step, he has to go to the Senate, where his trial will take place. But I think we need to back it up a few steps and really get into the power of votes and things of that nature, because I've seen a lot of ignorant comments based on saying my vote don't count or puppets and I'm not voting and things of that nature. First of all, let's understand something. It's a difference between a presidential election and a Congress election. Local elections, state elections. In a state election, your vote matters. Each vote is what actually put that person into office. In a presidential election, is based on the electoral college. All right, so let me break down the electoral college to those who don't understand. It's 538 electors out of the United States, out of each state and the District of Columbia. It's 538. A presidential candidate needs 270 votes to win. Each state has a different amount of electoral college votes. Like Rhode Island has 4, Texas has 38, Florida has 29, the lovely state of Virginia has 13. It's based on this consensus of the state's population, which determines how many electoral college votes it has. So when you vote for a president, it's based on those qualifications which would give them those votes. Like, so when you vote for Rhode Island, it's 4 Democratic electors and it's 4 Republican electors. You're casting your vote for those people to cast their vote for the president based on the population of that state. So if the majority of the state is voting for, we can say Trump, then Trump will win that state. Those electors will cast their vote for Trump. If it was for Clinton, then Clinton would have won that state. But the popular vote really doesn't matter if it's not in the key states that they need, because as you know, Florida is bigger than Rhode Island, and so on and forth. So you need to understand that concept to understand that every vote still counts. You still have to cast your vote to make it happen. Now, for those of you who haven't voted since you was 18 and things have stayed the same, ask yourself, how long would you try that method if it seems to not have worked for you? Why not try to go out there and place your vote? There's a reason why is voter suppression going on to keep the black people disenfranchised from going out there and vote. Also, we must also remember that one saying that I remember vividly since I was small is, if you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book. Because back then we couldn't read or didn't read. As we got the tools right in front of us to learn to read and do everything we need to do, why don't we use them to educate ourselves and stop spreading this bullshit, really, to say don't vote or don't even encourage people to get out there and vote. What is going to happen is, because of the impeachment, most people are fearful that just because the word impeachment is applied, that people think Trump is getting out of office. So when November rolls around, they won't even get out there and vote, because they like, why he's still the president? He got impeached. That's the first stage of it. That's like getting convicted or something, but then still have to go to the court to do the trial. That's the same thing Trump is going through. He's been convicted of it. Now he get his chance in court to fight his case to see if he get impeached. But it's a little different, because it's not a criminal matter, it's a political matter. Now, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives, which is composed of 435 members, is controlled by the Democrats. The Senate, which is composed of 100 members, is controlled by the Republicans. In the House of Representatives is where he got impeached at. The Democrats controlled it. When the Senate is controlled by the Republicans, where they are saying it's going to fail and he's going to fulfill his term and may get to win the next election if people not aware. The House and the Senate is what makes up the Congress. So in those off years, when there's not a president election going on, some of those seats come open. If you're not voting in, it don't matter which president is in the office. If you're not voting for the Congress, then whatever agenda that the president has will not even get pushed forward because he doesn't have the backing of the other two branches of government, which is the House and the Senate. You can pass a bill in the House, but if the Senate does not bring it to the floor, it would not get recognized and it would not get passed. That's why most of the voter suppression laws has not been passed, because Mitch McConnell would not bring them to the floor. It's things like that that people don't understand, that the off-year elections matter just as much as the presidential election, because if the president doesn't have the backing of the Congress, whatever he's trying to push forward will not happen. And if you have a gripe with anything that's going on in your community, in your town, in your state, if you're not looking for the person that's running for Congress, if you're not looking to them to represent you in Washington, D.C., then you are lost because you don't understand how the branches of government work. The president can only make something happen by executive order. But that doesn't mean it will be law. That means just like the Dreamers Act. President Obama made the Dreamers Act by executive order. When it was challenged, it got knocked down because it wasn't law. The only way it becomes law is if the House and the Senate, if it passes in the House and then gets shipped to the Senate, then the Senate votes on it, and they can that way it becomes law. I'm not advocating nobody to be a Democrat or Republican. I don't have no gripes with Republicans or no gripes with Democrats. I'm an independent because I look at the candidate, and that what they are talking about makes me determine who I'm voting for. But I would never go up into an election and say I'm not voting for neither one, because neither one of them is representing what I want, because one of them is saying they have some sort of agenda that's not matching up to even half of what I want. And the other one may have a few things, so I'm going to use my right to exercise my vote. That's what I think everybody needs to do. I know this was a kind of long video, but I just had to say what I've been seeing on social media about people still not understanding the power of voting. Get out and vote. Every 2 to 4 years, you should be out voting, especially for your local and state representatives. If you skip a presidential election, I wouldn't even be mad at you. But to skip the local ones and the state ones is where the most damage is done. Because one thing you must remember, the House and the Senate also appoint judges. The Senate appoint judges, and they are pushing judges through at a fast pace. One thing a judge has that don't most other government officials have: lifetime appointments. So if you go to court and you say this judge he's such and such, well, get out and vote and get a president that will get a president or a Senate or somebody that will put a judge in there that will represent your views. And don't follow a party blindly. Do your research and understand that every vote matters. Please have a wonderful day. Happy holidays. And remember, tomorrow starts a new day.